And then, so let me give you a specific example. A couple of days ago, I met with the president stroke CEO of a firm. The firm is called ZPMZ. It's a Chinese acronym. It's located in Shanghai. And this firm is by far the world's largest manufacturer of the large cranes used by transshipment ports. They produce 70% of those monstrosities you see at KCT used on transshipment ports throughout the world, 70%. So this is a major entity. The company, as I said, it is headquartered in Shanghai, is exploring the feasibility of establishing a fabricating facility in the, or better phrase this very carefully, if everything goes according to how I plan it to go, the facility, which will be located in Portland Bight. The facility we're discussing with Czech. And ZPMC is looking at establishing a fabricating facility which would supply the orders for such cranes coming from Latin America and the Caribbean. Now let us examine what are the opportunities which would come not simply by the direct employment, because this firm, this facility, if built, would be employing engineers, etc., the various levels of skilled workers. But what is more important, what are the spin-off effects? The company will further require, if established, accounting and legal services, language translation services, information and communication technology services, laundry and personal care services. You know, one of the interesting things, for example, about hotels, when we think about a hotel and we think of, you see the workers in the hotel, you know, the people, the maids, etc. But what is even more important in terms of the impact on the economy are the services which are purchased by such a hotel, you know, services and goods, food, whatever, the rail transportation services, etc. Now, within the context of the logistics hub, there is a specific task which they are carrying out. This company is thinking of fabricating cranes. The natural instinct is to say, so they're going to be employing mechanics, welders, etc. But more important in terms of the impact on employment as well as on earnings would be the opportunities which are opened up for entrepreneurs. So I haven't got around to housing, I haven't got around to transportation, moving the workers, providing food for the workers. And this I would put to you, puts in a very concrete way, this is not an attempt to lobby you to support the establishment of the economic zone. Not that as a politician I would turn down any support, but this is a specific example of where such a facility would sort of open up immense opportunities which previously didn't exist and are not related, not dependent on what the type of entity is, whether it's making a good or making services. These are all additional add-ons which are necessary for it to carry out. I'm not going to indicate to you my virtually of this is supposed to be about entrepreneurs developing ideas. I couldn't identify for you a set of activities in which you should specialize in. That will be totally left to your appraisal of the market. And perhaps more important is it will be left to whether you can produce that good or service needed at a competitive price. And when we say competitive price, I don't mean Jamaican competitive and say with protection. It must be within the context of competing against the world, because this happens just to be a location. And many of the guys in the private sector, my age, and I'm looking at some of them, came up in a period where the government erected barriers and saying these things must happen. But people have options. unless the good you produce or the service you provide is the equivalent to that which is obtained elsewhere, then in my discussion with ZPMC, I recognize that. He has no obligation to locate here. He has no obligation to hire workers who are less efficient and pay them at world prices. And this is an important aspect. And if any grouping will understand this, it would be a young entrepreneur who has, in a sense, grown up as a citizen of the world and doesn't see himself or herself as less efficient or inherently due some special protection because of nationality. Now, so that aspect of there are opportunities which will be coming, but they are not guaranteed to be available to you simply because you're Jamaican, but rather simply because you're able to produce that good or that service, or provide that good or that service at a level comparable to other locations. The other point I wish to make is that even though I have thought through what are the specific new opportunities which would arise, I'm certain that you reflecting, there's no set list, there's no set of things which saying these are the activities on which you should focus. Each entrepreneur must reflect on what service, what value added he or she could provide within the context of the main operations. So I hope I'm not providing you with this. Once we had a view that tell the farmer to go and plant this, tell this person, and you see the letters, you see the opinion pieces. Why doesn't the government, plan this for the farmers, etc.? Increasingly, the major issue relates to the flexibility to move from one activity to another. I think Jay made reference to this, not being afraid to fail. In concluding, let me thank the organizers for the opportunity presented to me to discuss the topic with you. I sincerely hope that if nothing else, we now have a common understanding of what is the logistic hub. I think I should apologize to anyone who expected me to provide them with a list of industries and our sectors which you should become involved in. But one of the important aspects of the spin-off of the investment in a logistics hub will be the education and training sector. Yesterday in my presentation, I spent a long time discussing what the activities taking place at the Caribbean Maritime Institute, which is a really amazing institution with very limited resources. They have demonstrated the greatest flexibility as a tertiary institution in training. And that will be one of the important changes to the educational system, that institutions must, not that you're going to necessarily abandon your traditional activities, but they must put themselves in a position where they are flexible and able to respond to what the market is demanding in terms of skills, etc. And that is another part, even providing of the trained workers required by the new activity. That will represent something which an entity could become involved in. With the flexibility of technology, you don't really need to establish school as a physical location. There are different ways of training persons which could be employed. And so what I would like to do, and we are available to discuss possibilities, and because in closing, I would say one of my concerns with the developments which are going to take place, which are taking place and are going to take place, is that it seems easier for me to convince other persons from other countries about investing long-term in Jamaica than it is to attract local investments. And one of the tasks we have set ourselves is trying to identify a cohort of such local persons, entrepreneurs, who we can get to become involved in these exciting opportunities which are going to come about. But I must confess, I don't have the key to that lock yet. But I find it paradoxical that whereas I could be signing a 50-year concession agreement with a foreign firm with a different culture, I have this difficulty in attracting local enterprises in even a 20-year investment. And that to me, hopefully, from a group of young entrepreneurs, won't be the problem. I suspect it won't be, because I think for them, long term is probably 5 years. But I'm hoping that we will see a sea change in that development. Thanks very much.